right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, great. So, this topic is quite, burning topic right now. A lot of people, a lot of researchers, a lot of scientists, and a lot of tech enthusiastic people right now working on those. And, this industry we like to explore in today. Before that, we had also did like two AI related discussion, which is very fruitful. Many people, ask questions. Our audience also there, so it's also getting streaming. So let's start. So basically, today's topic is the enhancing the retail e-commerce with AI, and from virtual try-on to personalized recommendations to supply chain optimization, everything. So we have 1 hour time, and we like to utilize it quickly. So I would be going each of the speakers, so and I will introduce them as well. So first, myself, Sabyasachi. So I'm CEO of Techno Exponent, and I'm delighted to lead today's discussions in this cutting edge topic. So um, so what I want to start with about myself. So specifically, right now I'm a CEO of Techno Exponent, and we have near about 400 plus software engineers. We develop all kind of custom AI, and I'm doing my PhD on generative AI. Now, in this topic, I want to introduce our all of the guests today. So we have Michael Collins, a CTO of Techno Exponent. We have Majinuddin Sophie, the CEO of Well Vision AI Technology. We have Manas Das, he is the research associate of IIT Bombay. We have Stuart Davis, he is the VP of Data Science PIC. We have Santosh Raut, who is the founder of startup Navin AI. We have Devendra, he is the machine learning lead of Better Data. We have Chirag, who is the chief operating officer of Login Tech. We have Pranav Agarwal, who is the founder of Major INC. We have Arshad Khan, who is the founder and chairman of TDM, the Dave Masters. We have Shoman Sardar, who is the lead data scientist at Smith Detection. We have Simon, who is the founder of Kegai. We have Kika Lebeka, who is the founder of Keep of CI. We have Raghuvala, who is the founder of Unify GPT. Let me see if someone is waiting. Yes, many people are waiting, so I add them. Yes. Yeah. So we have Shiat Seman, who is the CEO of SMNV. We have uh, Poker De La, who is the senior creative technologist at Harvard in Middle East. We have Arulia Edwards, who is the founder and CEO of Nailstree. We have Anjum Javed, who is a visiting lecturer and data science and AI on Vignan University. We have Willis Cherry, who is founder and CEO of Mothership Corporations. Nice, all of you. Then we have Jose Luis, who is the founder and CEO of Salsify Consulting. We have Clayton Mark, who is the CEO of Neural AI Labs. We have Pierre Luca, who is the CEO of Modi. We have Sai, who is the founder of Kalman Forge. We have Femi, who is the group managing director of Loutling Group. We have Donato, who is the CEO of Balodona. We have David, who is the VP of Rang the Apparel and Accessories. We have Raja Banerjee, who is the engineering manager of Techno Exponent, and we have Jonathan, who is the founder of AI Blockchain Ventures. So, it's thank you all of you. If I missed anyone a name, please. Sorry, we have few more guests, so I just added him. So coming back to one after one, so I would first like to go Stuart. So Stuart, I've seen a lot of yours things. So and you are a VP of Data Science Peak. So what do you think about the today's topic? Like, is it my goal is to ask like, is it like AI is going to generate money, more and more money in retail and e-commerce industry?
I mean, definitely. What we do at Peak, um, the generative AI side of things, we haven't gone very far into yet, but we've got like a range of solutions which are sort of that operations research side of AI and optimization. So things like um, optimizing like allocation and replenishment across stores, optimizing prices across regions, personalization, recommendations, segmentation, all of these sorts of things are like a heavy in our retail offering. From that sort of marketing perspective, it generates a lot of revenue. But you also have to take into account from like a demand and supply side the amount of capital that can be sort of released by not having to stock as high as you were by accurate demand forecasting and things like that.
So you are telling like you are more on the supply chain and the inventory management things. You are thinking it will help a lot, right?
Yeah, that's where we've got like the our biggest sort of market pool. Where we started was more in the sort of marketing side and customer segmentation. So, you know a bunch about your customers based on like their transaction history. Because of that, you can use AI to do things more sophisticated than just recency, frequency, monetary sort of classification of your customers. You can predict who is in market and what they're in market for.
Mm.
So we started there and had good results, but what we found is that areas become like more sophisticated very quickly. There's a lot of new players that are using sort of these techniques as they become more standard, and it's a lot more crowded. Whereas we find that going down the supply chain and
Mhm.
also pricing as well is a lot more open. Definitely from a merchandising perspective, retail is really interesting because we also work in CPG and manufacturing where it's a very different environment. Retail, we found merchandisers like to have like an all-in-one planning system. Um,
Yeah,
or they're working on spreadsheets. There's almost no in between. Whereas in CPG manufacturing, they've got this history with SAP, and SAP does some of what they need, but not all of what they need. And it's more of an evolution. But definitely in retail, merchandisers going from like these giant spreadsheets to these all-in-one planning solutions in almost like one step, which is interesting.
that's great. Nice to hear. Dana told you are a CEO of Balladona, so I know like you are working on a similar kind of industry. So if you give your insight on thoughts about it, if you're using AI on that.
Sure. Absolutely. So my company is Balladana, and we actually operate two businesses. One is a consumer-facing marketplace where all the clothing is made to measure. So it's for women's clothing. And that's a typical marketplace retail environment. And for that, we're utilizing an AI technology called 3D Look, which utilizes two photographs to extract body measurements to allow us to create custom clothing. The other business, which we've just launched, is a B2B support channel. And with that one, we're integrating not just the body scanning for measurements, but additionally animating the clothing so that we can have an AR try-on experience that will be 360 front and back. My thoughts so far is that it's still pretty nascent. Customers, we've played around with it a lot on the Balladana side to try to get it front and center. We've just made some pretty big changes to our UI and are about to implement a third step on that we think will really increase usage. Because I can tell you for the first 2 years, we had almost no one use the AI, but now we're really pushing it front and center into the experience. And maybe it's just because people are getting used to it, but we are starting to see a lot more usage of it. Where I will say the challenge is that having the body data does not actually help us that much in the manufacturing, because the manufacturing system is actually not equipped to work with that much data in any way, shape, or form. And so having both receiving in terms of interoperability and standardization of the data types has been a challenge, as well as just the parametric pattern making really isn't there yet. So it's step by step. On the new B2B side, our audience there is clothing designers and boutique owners who want a unique experience to try to compete with large brands. So we target brands that have pretty good, like over $1 million in sales. So they've got a market. They're not able to meet the gaps in sizing. So the hope there, and it's still to be fully rolled out. We've got it in demo only, but so far the brands love the idea of AR. The challenge, I think, is that the audience, which again for us is a consumer woman, she doesn't have time to mess around with an avatar or deal with, like, if it's more complicated than going to a store and quickly holding things up in front of you, I mean, that's the experience to beat. That's the experience that we have to be
So
better
you
at.
implemented
So
in
I would.
e-commerce as well? You implemented in e-commerce as well, or only store experience, like people come and see the AR-based technology?
So currently the AR technology is being built into the new B2B system. So it will actually
Okay.
appear on other people's websites. So we'll be a plug-in like a Shopify or a Klarna or something like that that'll fit next to your small, medium, and large. And people will go through a very different type of experience. They'll have that AR only for the customer experience. So we can roll it out to everybody, but it's our partner for that is a company called Aimer, which is a startup here in the United States, whose founder is actually Indian.
Nice. And coming to point of Shai, so Shai, I know you are a founder of Kalman Forge. So if you also kind of industry if you work with, so if you give your views, like what is your thought process? Is it a recommendation system or virtual try-on, or you also prefer like optimizations of the inventories and things? How you feel like it should utilize the AI right now and generating more better customer experience and better revenue for the the e-commerce owner, actually the store owner.
Yeah, so I'll share from my experiences so far. I work with a lot of founders that are in the space that are looking to build solutions or exploring solutions or building wrappers on top of existing solutions. And the challenge outside the technical piece, specifically related to the data set, is the data that relates specifically to their customers, right? And so the challenge that they're finding is that if they're shooting too broad and trying to apply to many customers, the underlying data set of clothing, garments, materials, buttons, all the details that are in the images that they're looking for are too broad. And so the groups I've found have had more success when they've trained the model in the specific data set of clothes that they're looking after and specifically target for their customer market. So that might be, for example, high-end fashion, specifically the leather industry. It might be something that's more beachwear specific to a particular region. And so that specificity I find in the founders I work with helps them get to market much faster with a much more targeted solution. Part of the problem is also the underlying technology. We're still at a stage where from a machine learning operation side of actually operationalizing a lot of the machine learning models, there's still a challenge of how do you make sure that you're always using the most optimized model for what you're trying to do, both from a cost and performance side. So that's still a challenge that a lot of founders are struggling with.
So thanks for insight. So here are a few machine learning engineers there. Like Devendra is one of them. He's a machine learning lead in Better Lab. So Better Data. So Devendra, if you give insight that how we can solve this problem.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of advancements in algorithms are happening recently. Like we see the way we generate the patterns and way we do the overlays has been quite enhanced. The one of the things I think like which most likely will help is let's say I think Donna talked about the in-store experience, right? Like when we walk in a store and then there are trials and those sort of things. Recently, one of my very close friends got married, and he was talking about like being in Delhi and like how he's trying out the different outfits and all of that, but the experience is like it takes several hours. Like you go, you change one clothes, then you come back and then there is something new and different. I think over there we can enhance a lot with the AI and AR and VR. So what we can do most likely is having a base dress, and on top of it we start with the overlays, or we can change the patterns, or we change the colors of the overlays to mix and match and get to the final clothing. So I guess that sort of a experience, like in-store experience, along with the e side of things, we can start enhancing. And then once we get the body measures, this might also translate into the e-commerce side. But I see the starting point is more on the luxury side, like how we do it for the weddings or in some of the grand scheme of things, grand events for the different guys.
Yeah, I know, Raja, you are also working on the similar thing. So do you have any thought on that? Like how we achieve the body measurement? So Donna already has, gone through those stage and she completed that part. But what is your thought, Raja, that you also working on similar kind of products? If you give an insight on that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. The thing is that we have created a similar model where in a store a person can stand in front of the camera in a certain position, and on the camera you can see the markers like where you have to put your head, like you have to put your head inside a circle, and you have to put your arms like this and the legs like this. And once you fit in that particular frame, it takes a snapshot, and then it keeps on putting various clothes that you are selecting of from the store on your body. So by that, we are taking the entire measurement of the body, and then we are generating the clothes, and the algorithms that we are using mostly here is the in-painting. Now, in painting, what happens that you create the mask, and the mask creation is most important, because if your mask creation is wrong, then with generative AI and the way you are creating the clothes on the body, those clothes will not fit. And the beauty of our algorithm is that if like every cloth looks good on a model having six packs and great figure and great body, every cloth looks good on them. But as a normal person like me or anybody else, or having not so great body, they can also try the clothes and see for themselves that how exactly it's looking on them. And the cloth, it gets generated according to the body measurement of the customer standing in front of the camera. So that's what really interesting, because sometimes a cloth that looks great on a particular model might not look good on uh, any other customer. So that's the virtual try-on experience that we're trying to create, and we have already created that, and we are working for one of our clients who who is about to create some shoes and t-shirts for the World Cup, for the football World Cup coming up. So we have designed shoes for the virtual try-on for that particular client. We have designed t-shirts, and we have worked with one of our Omanian clients. We designed dresses like Dish Dasha, Kumfi, and other dresses for them. So yeah, it has been, yeah, it's challenging. It's challenging, but we get 90% of accuracy out there as far as the body measurements are concerned. Yeah, sometimes creating a dress digitally and generating that dress and then putting that dress on a body. Sometimes the color codes, or maybe if there is an embroidering somewhere, or there is a very complex design, a complex logo printed on somebody's t-shirt, in order to regenerate that becomes a little difficult. But we can train things, and we can keep on trying to better this particular algorithm. But so far things have been very exciting.
I'll be coming to Jose because I know like Jose has used like AI for all. So, what solution, this kind of solution already you have built, or you are thought process, what are your thought process on AI in the retail industry?
Thank you. Well, there's been a very rich and interesting discussion about the consumer-facing side of the business. I've worked a lot more on the back end.
Okay.
There's big retailers in the US that for many years have merged external data with internal data to adjust what's on the shelf, for example. So there's an increase in the average temperature in the southeast of the US. So that means that it would be smart for that retailer to have more beverages, more drinks, and fewer peanut butter, jelly, Nutella, things like that. So the system delivers an automated order to make room for more beverages with those items that have low probability of being consumed because of the change in temperature. That's been done for more than 15 years. We didn't talk much about AI back then. It was data warehousing or business intelligence. But regardless of the nomenclature, I believe there's huge opportunity on that part. And companies are to some extent ignoring that opportunity. The focus is greatly on the customer facing side of the business, which is also super important.
Absolutely. So from the dresses, right now I like to move on the nails. So I would go to Aurelia's because Edward, and she's the founder and CEO of Nails Tree. So I've seen your platform; it's quite interesting. So are you looking are you building something on the based on nail or something? What is your industry all about? If you tell.
So as we look at personalization, we find that in the beauty industry, things aren't made to measure or custom fit. So we're bringing that custom fit approach specifically to the beauty industry. The parent company is Standard Measure Technologies. It's an in-house proprietary technology that we built, but right now we're innovating in the press-on nail space. All hands are not the same, so we have been able to measure the customer's fingernails for custom fit press-on nails, and this increases the durability and integrity of the entire wearing experience. A lot of people complain that they fall off, and the reason they fall off is because they don't fit. And that was our beachhead market. We're looking at innovating for lashes as well. All eye shapes are not the same, and a lot of women have to trim their lashes when putting on extensions. The same goes for wigs. So those are the three areas that we're focused on. Our technology allows for micro measurements, sub-millimeter accuracy, around 0.3 to 0.5 millimeters. It gives you a really great fit, and it brings that brand loyalty back to the brand. So brands are now able to extend their product offerings, charge more for these premium products, and increase their ROI with their customer. And then our core technology can be taken out of the beauty space into areas such as jewelry, immersive e-commerce. When we look at places like Roblox that are now offering inexperienced purchases that can be brought to your home. So we see a diverse area that we can innovate with our micro measurements, and hopefully partnering with an apparel brand at some point, or a body scanning company to add on to their suite of offerings in the future.
Oh, that's nice. It's nice insight. It's a very interesting topic. I would like to move Shihat Saman, if I'm pronouncing it wrong incorrectly, please forgive me. So you are a CEO of SM Ways. So if you tell me what you are making difference in this particular industry, because a lot of exciting things already I have heard, and I believe everyone gain a lot on it. So if you tell me your views, how your company working and things like that. I think you are mute, Shihat.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. First, I want to say hi to everyone here. My company located in Turkey, and we made mobile applications mostly. And for recently, one of our application, we use the AI for guessing the period of the woman. I mean, for example, like we use the TensorFlow to guess precisely what will be the next period after her, and we use that logic in our application. And also, as a company, we publish some articles about detection of the lung cancer, and with that we are almost like 92.3. I can say we are in the model detection along with a sensitivity of 88.5%, because those numbers I cannot remember exactly. I want to read from the article. In this study, a novel deep learning model is proposed for the automated real-time detection of lung nodules. The proposed model exhibits a remarkable accuracy of 92.3% in nodal detection, and along with a sensitivity of 88.5 and a mean average precision of 53.5%. And in that model is built using the YOLO 8 architecture. I don't know you know or not. And with that model, we are predicting and we are helping the doctors to detect that lung cancer.
Okay. Yeah. So you mostly in a healthcare you are focusing on?
Actually, I am graduate as a biomedical engineer. I am a biomedical engineer. So right now we are trying to focus the health sector mostly.
Great.
Right now. Yeah.
Great. I have Roghubala with us, so founder of Unified GPT. So if you tell about your story bit, how Unified GPT is in AI and how things are going.
Yeah, sure. So Unified GPT is a startup. I've had 4 exits to date, 3 to public companies, and this is my 5th startup. And based in Southern California, we also have a office in Bangalore.
Okay.
And what we have done is we create autonomous agents. And one of the use cases that we're working on for the e-commerce as well as e-commerce space, I'd say, is these autonomous agents are digital twins of oneself. So it'll look like you and so on. And all of the body measurements would be similar to what you have. And so one of the problems that everyone is well aware of is the problem of returns when it comes to clothing and those types of things on e-commerce. I know that for a fact because my daughter returns about a third of what she buys. So I've got empirical evidence on this particular problem. So the issue is, how do you reduce returns? And through our digital twins, and similar to some of the other speakers who have gone before me today, with accurate measurements and being able to drape a digital version of the wearable on the twin, one can figure out the fit and reduce the sort of return percentage, which goes. I've done some research. It goes into many billions of dollars a year, and so that's what we're working on. I mean, we have a broad platform, but in the e-commerce space, this is the particular use case. Apart from this, I'm also the MIT Sloan instructor for AI and
Oh,
blockchain.
great.
So yeah, that's us in a nutshell.
That's absolutely great. So Chirag, I want to go with you because you are the CEO of LogWinTech. So um, how LogWinTech and how you are thinking your perspective of that particular section. Are you looking to focus on the retail industry or you want to focus on some other industry?
Basically, see, we are working in the service industry from the IT segment, okay. But based on my research and interest in this particular domain, I have collected a few of the data regarding the e-commerce, like how virtual try-ons is impacted towards the global revenue as well. Suppose, according to global data, virtual try-on market is projected to grow CAGR up to the 40% in 2022-27 as well. And I agree with the Raghu Raja as well, because reducing the return rates and enhancing the engagement is the major part to increase the e-commerce market. Okay, so there will be the lots of virtual trials sort of in the market, which is really helpful to build the e-commerce. Even the big brand like Sephora have reported 200% conversations increase using these trials as well. And the particular personalized recommendations from analyze the customer behavior and preference to deliver the product recommendation is the good things to drive the sales and increase the enhancing the customer satisfaction. Even according to the Amazon attributes 35% of revenue and personalized recommendation generated AI algorithms. Still, we are considering the McKinsey report. Personalized recommendations increase sales up to by the 20%. So, if we are considering from the zero to the AI, then definitely AI is affected. AI is impacted in this e-commerce market. Even the supply chain management, sometimes using these particular things, the Walmart is increased the 10% sales due to the supply chain optimizations using this AI as well. So I totally convinced using the AI. I know that AI is not up to the mark as the customer is looking for, like 99% accuracy or 100% accuracy. But comparison to the past experience and currently we are discussing about the futures and AI, then I can definitely say that it will be the good impact using the AI in the e-commerce market and the other domain industry as well. That's it.
Absolutely, but I will go to the few of the engineers also here and CTOs also here. So I will go one after one. So first, I like to go Michael. So Michael, if you tell me like how it's my personal questions like how like a startup or very normal like who doesn't have a lot of data sets, how they will be coming to the recommended system. I understand maybe virtual try-on and things can be easy to get, but how the a startup can do like a recommendation system. Michael, you are mute actually. Okay, yeah. Yes,
Yeah,
Michael, you
so
can.
yeah, so definitely. So it's a number of ways you can kind of think about it, but it depends on there's a lot of kind of variables that go into it, but it depends on the segment and what they're trying to kind of build out. But recommendation systems or things like that, let's say it's an apparel and they're trying to get make people buy or get people to purchase an additional item or additional accessory or something, and that can be in health or in beauty or fashion and apparel. And so if you don't have a lot of data, there's a number of kind of open source tools that are like data sets that you can leverage to kind of begin to kind of compile things and get a sense of stuff. And so I think that'll be the kind of first thing you want to kind of think about, is some other tools that you can leverage or data sets that you can leverage to really simplify your process. In addition, when you think about how you build out your recommender system, you would want to think about, what are kind of the priorities. So you would kind of think about what areas you want to begin to prioritize. So if you don't have a lot of data, you may want to figure out, okay, what segments of my overall kind of offering should I focus on, and things like that. And so it gives you a chance to limit all the data things you need to do, and maybe focus on one particular area initially as you build out that data, check out these open source kind of data sources, and give yourself a better chance to kind of build out that recommender system. And then just on a kind of more technical point, depending on what type of tooling you're using, what type of AI algorithm you're going to try to build it out, thinking about all those things, as well as kind of the optimization techniques you kind of do to make sure that it's, giving you the results you expect.
Showman, I would go to you. Like, do you have also similar kind of feeling, like how you feel like a startup can get this data set? Like Micah said, like a lot of toolings can be useful on that, and we can get the data sets. But many times startup ask me questions like, I don't have a real data, or it's very costly to build out. So what is your thing to give us solutions to the start or mid-level businesses?
Yes. Hi, everyone. So data collection for a new model is indeed a very big problem in our industry, meaning in the AI industry. So while we rely on certain tools to collect data to train our new model, the problem with those tools are basically they are following some historical distribution which is already seen by those tools. Maybe they have created from certain institutes or from the universities or any other organization. The problem with that data is when we train the models on top of those data set, the model will be biased towards that industry. So to answer your question is that if we are looking for a specific use case for my problem statement, then the complete onus is on me to collect the data, and maybe I have to recruit a team who will plan for the data collection. And literally there is no other way around. Otherwise the model may give us good result during training in the development environment, but in production the model will suffer. I would like to voluntarily add some points in the virtual try-on part. So I already have understood that the problems that the industry leaders are facing here, that the outcome in the AR and VR is not good enough. So the problem, so I am into computer vision domain for past 6 years. And with that knowledge, I can tell that while we are applying the in painting algorithm or any other diffusion algorithm or generative algorithm on top of the images are in 2D, recorded in 2D. So instead of that, maybe we can think of different kind of sensor data like LiDAR. So with LiDAR, they can collect 3D points of the customer or the person's body, as well as with the same technology, they can scan the actual outfit, which will be put on the body. And in that way, what they can do, they can run some volumetric analysis. Yes, there are lots of algorithms to those kinds of analysis. Those are very efficient. So once we have those volumetric analysis data, then we can easily fit a 3D model into another 3D model. So in that case, the dress will be 3D scanned and the person's body will be 3D scanned instantly. And I think less learning will be required for that. So coming back to my first point, like where to find the data. So if we scan the actual 3D model of the garment, and if we scan the person on the store, then it is a matter of image processing and some volumetric analysis. And I think the results would be much, much better. Yeah, that's all I want to say.
Absolutely. And I will go to I mean, not the same questions, but to Anjum Javed, who is the visiting lecturer in Bignan University in data science and AI. So I believe you have a lot of thought process on that. So if you also a little bit show the lights that how data collections, or how we can make the customer journey first much more faster and much more better way, so we gain a lot of good customer, retain the customers to this industry.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Sabyasachi, and hello, everyone. Thanks for inviting me, Sabyasachi, to this roundtable. I think this has been a very enriching experience so far. So I wanted to, highlight a few things. This is drawing from my experience of having worked for some of the large IT organizations and startups. One of the areas is if we talk about product catalog management, right?
Mhm.
Now, Gen AI and the advancements that are happening in that area can really help shorten the timeline to create, almost like studio grade images within no time with, the textual prompts. Of course, there is the last mile and then the customization bit, the fine tuning bit that will go on. But in effect, what we have seen is that this is poised to benefit the retail industry a whole lot, especially on the online retail side of it, or side of the business, wherein it can accelerate the time it takes to get the product listed and updated in the catalog and available for purchase quickly. And then there is a statistic which tells that the better the customers are able to search for a product or an item, the better the purchasing or the sales revenue you can expect. So I think a lot of time which used to be spent between this is the perspective of the product and this is the vendor you're going to be coordinating with for the images. It may take a few weeks, for it to go into production. So that is something which is curtailed. And I think I can draw in from my experience of having worked on conversational AI side of it, for retail industry. When I think visual question answering, these kind of systems are also kind of adding to the overall customer satisfaction, and more satisfied customers tend to remain with the organization for a longer time. So I think from that perspective, this is a game changer. Talk about simple textual kind of interaction with a conversational AI versus now if you're able to say that here's an image of a gown and fetch me a similar gown but with a red bow. Now it's able to draw in from the features from what is spoken in the language and the text and the image, and then draw from that and then go ahead and fetch the gown with the red bow from the inventory if one exists. Now this is taking the conversation to the next level, and in fact there are advances in content-based image retrieval also, which has been one of my area of research, wherein instead of just the metadata-based search on a product, we're looking at the product features exactly, and then the search engine would go and search the similar product, which is closer to this product in the vector space in the similarity measure. So I think those are the kind of things which are really making a shift to happen. And in fact, if you look at the demand forecasting side of it or inventory management side of it, I think the time series models and winter models, which take care of the seasonality trend and are able to predict that in this point of time you need to stock so much, because if you don't stock the required levels, you're missing on a sales opportunity, a potential sales opportunity. Or if you're stocking too much, then probably you got to be paying more real estate costs and maybe more costs while moving the products from A to B, and also the products may go stale after some time. So I think it is very important to strike the right balance, and that is where we have seen that the time series models for demand forecasting, they are definitely being used to the advantage. And I think overall there's a lot that is happening in this area, and I think there's a Lenskart example. They also have an AR tool
Yes.
And yes, wherein you can basis your facial features. You can try a frame that fits you well. So that is on the online side of it. But they are also using a video analytics tool, and they have partnered with somebody. I'm forgetting the name of that company, but they are also able to see what are the footfalls in the stores and whether these footfalls are generating revenue. They're actually materializing into some kind of purchases from the store, or this is just window shopping. So in case where there is more window shopping happening, then probably they can optimize better on the sales strategy. And where there is definitely increased buying, then the inventory can be stocked accordingly.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yes,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, these are some of my thoughts. Yeah, this is how the industry is shaping.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I will go to the Santosh right now. So Santosh, you already having those kind of venture, and you have already two ventures. So if you say like what exciting you are doing in AI, and especially how you are helping people.
Oh yeah, so I heard a lot about consumer side use cases here, but we work with brands and fashion houses, and their major concern is, can AI create new designs for an outfit or an apparel? Even though we see that DALL-E or Midjourney can create designs with a prompt, but are they usable? Can they use directly printed on a fabric? So that's where we help them with creating new designs that they can actually print on the fabric. And once they create a new design, can they change certain elements using generative AI? And also they have existing designs and they want to change only few things in their design and create a new design. And after they create a design, can they visualize how a particular design would look on different body sizes and different body types? So that's where we work with some of the fashion houses and brands here in Singapore as well as India.
So here I would like to ask the business owner some of the questions directly. Like I got few questions, but we have a short of minutes. So I will ask directly, like, what challenges you are facing in AI? Means, are you giving enough customer experience, or are you feeling like AI engineers are giving enough customer experience or customers feelings, or you are happy with that? Because lots of business owners they are belong to AI background, but they mostly deal with the customers. So Donna, Rula, whoever wants to talk about it, like, are you happy with the AI outcome which you're getting from the software engineers?
I don't know if I'm not an engineer, so like code level, am I happy? I don't know, but am I happy with where everything's headed? Yeah, I just think we need to have a lot more conversations like this and start connecting the dots, because my big concern, like with anywhere, is that everybody's operating in these silos. We're not using standards. You talked about generative AI. If you and I literally cannot agree on where your waist is and how it's measured, and even where simple things like in a scan, what's the x-axis? Is it on the floor or on the side? I have a global working group that is attempting to figure out all the broken points and interoperability issues, going from body scans up to garment making and all those steps in between. And we found immediately, we tested 4 different scanning companies, and we presented some of our findings last year at 3D Body Tech. And we just found so many issues from the get-go, so many issues. And yeah, like literally, like 2 of the scans had you standing up, the others would invert it. And we had to create all this additional glue to stick it together to try to make things work. And yeah, I think we're at the very beginning. Let's just say it's nascent, but like I've been in technology a long time. And some of you guys have too. You remember the early days of the internet, right? You had 14 web safe colors. Nothing worked together. I don't think we even had invented JPEG at that point. So I think we have to push for some kind of standardization, not like standard size 8. I mean, like literally, where is your waste? How do we measure it? Is it from the floor up? Is it at a percentage of body? Like and if we can't agree on a solid, standard, we'll at least understand what you think versus what I think and be able to connect the dots in between. I think there just has to be an awful lot more collaboration and adoption, and an awareness of and a true commitment to interoperability, or we're not going to see all this wonderful AI taking off the way it needs to be. It has to be truly useful at the end of the day, right? Sorry.
Exactly. A few days back, I got things like the thing is needed, like whatever the dress I'm wearing, and there is a dress is there which I need to select. And while selecting, whole dress would be coming to me. So here a lot of AI engineers saying like, we cannot put the whole things because we have to generate the elements and then we have to put it. So sometimes we, as a business owner or as a, facing to the client, we may not say them that exactly it cannot be achievable. So I would go to the Michael, Michael, you deal with a lot of clients. You are facing the client. So what your thought? Like, do you think that we have to understand in a client point of views, like they need that specific thing, or we have to deliver at most as possible? So how you face these issues and how you solve it out when you are doing with the end clients or when you are doing with the end customers?
Yeah, so a lot of it is really trying to pinpoint really what their kind of key problem they're trying to solve. A lot of that, when you kind of interface and connect with them, we all have like a lot of great things, but how do we kind of dwindle that down to like something really kind of pinpointed initially so we can build out that initial kind of success? And so like really kind of understanding what their kind of core requirement is, really kind of diving into that so you can build out something that's really useful for them and builds out that initial success, because there's a lot of moving parts with AI and it's a lot of, kind of things that you kind of manage on both on development side, but it's also just kind of experience, as well as like the experience that the customer, the end user is actually going to expect. And so combining both of those to kind of deliver something that's really useful, you really want to really kind of understand what their key kind of use case they're trying to solve and really kind of pinpointing that kind of thing first. And going back to the thing what we discussed earlier around like data sets, that's where you really, a lot of times new organizations may not have kind of great data sets. And I know I think Angela mentioned like synthetic creation of like images and things like that, but it's also can be applied for a synthetic data set. So building out some initial kind of data sets and then kind of building out synthetic models, because a lot of we're using open source tooling, if there is not available, can help organizations really get up to speed fast enough where they begin to get those real kind of data sets and real kind of customer insights to kind of grow. But I think really understanding that initial use case and really trying to be very specific around it, because AI can be, all encompassing, can solve a lot of problems. But you want to get that initial win so that then you can create value for your business and for what you're trying to achieve.
Absolutely. I would go another question. Anyone can pick it up, which I got from our viewers. So there is a question. It's like we all talked about like inventories. We talk about like the virtual try-on, but we haven't talked about the chatbot for the e-commerce platform. So like sometimes we are not finding a proper products into the e-commerce platform. So how it can be solved it out, like a chatbot may be a solution, like where customers can ask questions like I need a red t-shirts, and then automatically link generated and show to the customers, or I need this services and automatically link generated and find the customer, or ask some questions to the customer, and based on their answer, recommendations link would be generated from the product inventory they have and show to the customer. So what is your thought process on that? I would put the questions to all of you. Anyone can pick it up.
Yeah, let me chime in on this. This is Raghu Bala from Unified GPT. So basically, we already do this. We have these bots who are doing customer service, and they're doing across various industries, banking, insurance, and e-commerce is definitely fair game, because these bots are not like that. I hate to call them chat bots because they are agents actually. chatbots are very pre-programmed with a particular flow, it's like rote learned and so on. Whereas agents, basically, you give them a corpus of information. In this case, it would be a catalog of your products or whatnot, and also other pricing and other types of information about your company. And they'll be able to answer questions. And the benefit is they can answer questions in 100 languages. They can also prepare quotes. They can do other types of RPA functions behind the scenes and send you an email, send you an invoice, do all sorts of other things besides just answer questions. So I think that use case is definitely a viable one. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah. So anyone have any different thoughts on that? Is that something is important? And here also another point I feel like a few days back one kind of requirements I got, but thing is that I mean data sets again a problem, but here I feel like if someone can read the website and can prepare the data sets and can train the model. So do business owner really feel there is a need of that, or the leads they get, it's easy to handleable by internal team? What is the thought, if any, engineers or other people have?
I think if you're looking at the expanse of a chatbot, right, a conversational AI interface or an agent, as we may call it, in a different parlance. But I think all what it boils down to is there is a bot which can help you with some information, and then there's an automated service agent for you which can help you complete the transaction, in its entirety. So okay, in the first example, let's say, okay, so what are the flights available for California, and I'm in Los Angeles on a given day, and which is the cheapest flight that I can get at 7 a.m. in the morning. Now, this is informational. Transactional would be wherein it is able to make the recommendations. It knows me as a customer. There's a personalization aspect to it as well. It knows me, Anjum Javed, as a customer, and understands my preferences, my buying behaviors. Instead of having to say too much, it understands, what I'm actually looking for and what is my need. And it's able to go ahead, make those recommendations, and then help me complete the booking and say that, here's your ticket. So this is like a transaction, a closed loop, complete thing. And that is where it is headed. Give me personalization, give me personalized recommendations, understand me as a customer. And I always give this example, the Google Maps that you see in its current shape and form. Where do I get the next McDonald's? Okay, 10 kilometers ahead. But if it knows me, it understands my medical history and say that, probably, and nothing to demean McDonald's, but then probably looking at your health condition and you're currently diabetic, probably you go 5 kilometers ahead and there's a healthier food option. Now that is personalization.
Yeah, that's something very, very modern thing you're talking about, which should be coming fast because of lot of data, our data are going to there. So I believe for a time constraint, last question I'll be taking from the viewers, and I believe that's very common and very proper questions, like what ethical considerations should be addressed when deploying the AI technology in retail and e-commerce. So I believe a lot of business owners here and a lot of engineers here who already did it. So if any one of you or few of you can say about that particular part, like what kind of ethical part need to consider while working with the AI stuff into the e-commerce and retail. Any one of you if wants to talk about?
Yeah, so I'll jump in really quick because just kind of use case really on the try-on industry in particular. And so there's a couple of kind of frank ways to kind of think about it. First, what are the privacy and kind of regulations in your region and your that you need to abide by, right? And so having that kind of clear, really being kind of thoughtful around that is first. And different regions, whether in the US or in Europe, Asia, India, each region will have different kind of requirements, and where you're getting that data from, you want to be very, very thoughtful around those requirements. And going back to kind of the ethical standard, especially on like try-on, if you're trying to train data on people's, images, right? And try-on can be very personal, and like, what they're wearing, and they're typically nearly nude and those type of things. And so being thoughtful around like what your terms of use are people really aware that that's going to be used, and how's that data going to be used, and how is that data being stored, and being really, really thoughtful around that is very important, because it can get, it can be a very kind of terrible situation if you're not very thoughtful around that for a startup, and if you're just kind of free-willing it. So a couple frameworks, regulations, that you have to deal with locally, and that locally can be by state, region, whatever kind of governing body manages those things. And then thinking about just on a practical level on your terms of use, are people really aware of what you're doing with the data? And are you really giving them prompts to kind of agree to the things that you're going to be doing with that data? And then just being careful around, we talked about try-ons, being careful around how you manage those images. If you're even putting them in your terms of use because you're going to use it, how are you managing those, how are you storing those, how do you make sure that that it can never be compromised? I think on a security level is also important.
I think I can pitch in something from the something from the synthetic data side, especially which might be very interesting for the rest of the guys, considering the privacy and data issues. So it's really a problem. Like when you save the data of the real human beings or real measurements, all of that, ultimately, like if you want to use it, like you need to expose it to the guys who will be building algorithms, who are going to be using the products and further doing the development. What we do at the Vector Data, what I used to do at the Vector Data was building the synthetic data sets around this. So let's say we have A, B, C, D as the real person, but we generate the data sets like A dash, B dash, C dash, which are sort of representations of the real data, but they are not the real entities. By means, you can never translate, or these data points can never go back to the real entities or real human beings. They are just created as the distributions of the data, and by means of which you can actually make sure that you make sure that you preserve the privacy of the users. At the same time, if you do this, like let's say within a couple of weeks of getting the actual measurement and translate it into the system, like you can guarantee that those data leaks won't happen. Like you just don't need to save the actual measurements for building the models or building the rest of the systems.
Certainly. Understand that particular part, and I believe that we got enough knowledge and many good thought come again, and then hopefully like we can use those AI part in future and then use it a lot. Before I close it out, anyone wants to talk something? Finally, we have 1 more minute, so if you want to talk, otherwise, it's happy to close it out. Anyone wants to talk something? Okay, so thank you everyone for joining this. I will be sharing this link to everyone so you can see it, and it's nice having in the team. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.